Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be walking you through how to reinstall the neutral and drive lever for the Kirby. So for the Kirby transmission, this is a common problem. I do this repair all the time. So I'm going to walk you through how to do it. So hopefully you can do it yourself, especially if don't live near a vacuum store. So as far as tools is concerned, it's mostly just going to be basic tools that you can do this job with. So if it's the later models, if it's not super old, in the later models they use torque screws, so they use a T20 screw. And then either super glue or some sort of Loctite will work for this job. We're going to do this repair so that it never happens again. So I've been doing this repair for many years. I've been in business 16 years, and I've been doing this repair. I've never once had one of these come back with a repeat issue. So that's good. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by stripping this Kirby down so that it's a little bit more manageable. So we're gonna take the belt and we're gonna take the nozzle off. So for that, we're gonna put the belt in the off position. And we're gonna take this nozzle off, set that aside. And then we're also going to remove the bag assembly. That's just going to pop off. And then up top, there's a little clip that you're going to push that clip and then take that off. And then we do have actually a T15 screw that we need to remove. So it's T20 and T15 that you'll need. Hopefully you have a set. And we're going to take this cover off right there. So that's one screw, and then there's a T20 screw that's going to be located right back here. And then this is just held in by a clip, so you're going to stick a flat screwdriver there and then just pry it upwards like that, and then this will come off. That's going to free up the cord that was strapped underneath there, and then we can go ahead and just lift our handle up out of place by hitting this button here. That just gets the cord out of the way, and then this comes out. Underneath here, we are gonna remove these two T20 screws. And then up top, we're gonna just remove these two screws right here. You need to break them loose with the hand screwdriver. Okay, so now this cover is going to come off. Now, if you have this switch on your model, if some models don't, so if you have this switch, you are going to need to slide this out just like that. You're going to have to kind of lift it like that. The next thing we need to do is we need to pop this switch button out. So just with a flat screwdriver, we're going to go underneath and just pry up, and that's going to pop the button out. And then the little lever for the switch comes out there. All right, next we're going to go ahead and flip this machine over, and we're going to have 3 screws that we're going to remove. We don't have to remove this one yet. Now when you flip this over, you should see these pieces come out. And if you haven't yet, then just keep taking it apart until you find that you're going to find these pieces in there. So a tiny little spring washer, and then the mating piece to this lever, which we need to install. So we're going to flip this back over, and then this transmission's going to just drop out of the bottom like this. And then you do have the belt that runs off the motor that you need to remove, just like that. Sometimes this little metal lever gets in the way, so you can just lift that out of the way as you're lowering it down. All right, we're going to go ahead and set the vacuum aside. All right, so this is the transmission. When you push the handle forward, this lever here goes forward, and this is what's activating the different clutch directions right here. So if you're curious how that works, if I hold this forward like that and I spin the wheel here, simulating the drive from the motor, you can see the wheels turning backwards. If I hold here and spin the same direction, you can see the wheels going forward. So that's how that works. Pretty simple. Okay. So this piece here is more than likely just kind of laying down in here. So that's what you're going to need to find. So now we're going to take this one screw out. All right. Okay, so the tricky part about this is getting this aligned properly. So so first I'll just do my best to explain how this actually works and what's going on here. So now you can see when the lever is in the drive position, when it's down in the drive position, this little piece here is kind of at that 90-degree angle from the lever, okay? And that allows this gear to mate. Okay, now when you put it in the neutral position, you're gonna see that little finger move like this, and it's going to actually release the gear lock. You look right in here, you're gonna see this thing gets pulled over, and it now disengages the gears. So now when I have this, when I am engaging the transmission, you can see the gears turning, but it's not engaging the wheels. So now we have the neutral position, all right? So what happens is that little cam slides off of this pedal, and it comes off just because of probably just vibration and stuff like that. The little spring washer is supposed to prevent that, prevent vibration from allowing it to come off, but it still comes off nonetheless. All right, now the tricky part is actually figuring out how it, where it goes back on. In my experience, you can actually find the place where it's supposed to slide on, because it's going to slide on very easily in one spot. So, and that's what I do is I have the neutral part flush and parallel with this back plastic piece, so if you can see that. And then I'm looking to put this corner, the edge of this piece here, around 12 o'clock. In this case, it's just slightly past. And that's where it's sliding on very easily. Okay, so you should be able to kind of fit it on and press it on and try a couple different places. See, if I push it on here, it's very hard. So that's clearly not the right position. So before I discovered that there was like some worn grooves in these and you could kind of just feel the right spot, I was having to kind of trial and error, you know, put this on, remove it, test it, put it on. And so that may be what you have to do, but once you find the right spot, what should happen is when you push the neutral, this piece here clicks in like that, it releases the gear, and then the drive, when it's locked in, the drive is close to parallel right here. So, and if you've got it misaligned, what's going to happen is the pedal is going to run into this piece here. So that's why it takes a little bit of trial and error to get it in the right spot. But if you're lucky, like this one, you'll find the worn grooves and you'll be able to just push it right on. Okay, so before I do this, I'm going to clean this with a solvent to get any grease off. So when I put the glue on, it's going to make a good solid joint. So I'm going to clean this part real quick. All right, so I've got everything cleaned up. So we're going to put this back together, and we're going to make sure that this repair is permanent. So I'm going to go ahead and find my groove again. There it goes. All right, so I like to put a bead of super glue right around this edge here, while you're also holding this piece down. If your piece is kind of it's really loose and it's wanting to spring out, just hold this down while you're getting the glue around it, And then if you have any instant set for super glue, then this will help. It bonds it in about 10 seconds. Otherwise, you just need to hold it until it bonds, depending on your super glue and how quickly it takes to bond. This is why I don't like to use Loctite, so is because I get more of an instant bond. So you can use Loctite as long as you keep it secure and from moving. It will also serve the same purpose, but it just takes a little bit longer for it to accomplish that secure bond. So now we've got it locked in place by the glue, and it will never come off again. Now, if you want to, you can put just a bit of grease there, or some oil or something. And we're going to go ahead and slide it in place. And what you're doing is you're looking to line up this here and this hole like this. That's going to line up there, and then you should have your screw hole line up, and then you can put your screw in just like that. Tighten it down, and then just give it a test. Make sure you're good. A little touch of grease there. Okay, so we're halfway there. Now, when we're putting this back in, you do want to make sure that it's in the drive position so that this piece here is not sticking out, because that'll run into the frame as we're trying to stick it back in. So we want it in that drive position. All right, so before I get back, just want to say, if you're enjoying the video and if you like the content, then subscribe to the channel. And also, I do this for a living, so if this is a valuable video to you and it's saving you money and you would like to say thank you in the form of a tip, you can either hit the super thanks button and shoot me a tip, or you can go directly to Venmo, I have that in the description, and send me a tip that way. So I always appreciate it. So only if it saves you money and if it was helpful. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and install the transmission. So I like to hold this switch lever in place, just up out of the way as I'm bringing the transmission up into there. And then once it gets past about there, then you can drop it. And then we're also going to grab our belt. And as we're getting it in place, I'm going to be lifting it up to get the belt wrapped around there. And then you also have to make sure that your lever for the transmission, the forward and backward lever, is connecting with the handle yoke, just like that. So once you have this aligned, the belt is got good tension, and the switch lever is still in place, still attached to the switch. If it's not coming out or loose, then you're good. Then you're good to go ahead and install the screws for the transmission. So we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to continue holding the transmission until I get at least one screw in. Okay, now that I've got one screw in, we can let go of it, and then we can get the other two in. Next, we're going to grab our power switch button, and you're going to install in this little opening right here, this little hole, you're going to install that metal bracket, and then it's just going to pop in place like that. All right, so next we can put this cover piece back on. So we're going to slide this speed control in. You're going to have it in the back position like that, and then you can lift it up and get it over the handle yoke and drop it straight down like that. And we're going to put in our 4 screws. These are the flat screws, and then you have the pan head screws that are up front.
And you've got these counter sub screws that are going to be up front here.
All right, next we can get our plastic cover on. This is going to have 2 little fingers that are going to go under the metal like this. And before you put the latch, this cover piece on, if this applies, some models don't have this, you're going to make sure you get your cord grain secured underneath this, and then you can clip it, and it'll lock in there, and then you can put your screw back in over top. That's going to be the T15. We got our one screw in the back here, down below. And then you can install your handle, and then you're good to go. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have a great day.